WTCM News Talk 580, 8:36 on a Monday, the 23rd of January, with Ron Jolly and Colleen Wares. Joining us in the studio today, we have three ladies, as I said earlier, who would like to give away some money. Wendy Steele is with us, Allison Beers, and Linda
Lindqust-Bishop.
Thank you, Lindqust-Bishop. My apologies there. Now, I'll just go back. You were here a while back, years ago, and you're an accomplished sailor, aren't you?
It is a bad habit of mine, yes.
That's a bad habit, yes. Accomplished to what degree, though? What events have you raced in and won?
Oh, well,
Notable.
I've raced in many of the Chicago Mackinac races, but I've been privileged to compete in the Super Bowl of Sailing and the America's Cup.
There you go. Nice. And a lot of good leadership moments from that I know that you share with people. Wendy Steele is in. Wendy, what do you do? What do you do, Wendy? Besides give away money.
Well, I am the original founder of Impact 100 and creator of the model. So alongside that work in the nonprofit world, I also have a consultancy called Generosity Matters, where I work with families, small companies, and nonprofits to help build a culture of generosity.
And we'll talk about Impact 100, how it started and how it's now going to be present in our local community. Allison Beers is here as well. Allison is with Events North.
Good morning.
Your
yes.
company that you
Yes.
started up. And what are you doing with Impact 100 here?
I am co-presidenting Impact 100 with the lovely Diana Mylock.
Great. And let's talk about Impact 100 now, which started back in the 90s, right?
2001.
2001.
It actually, the idea was conceived right here in northern Michigan. I was slightly north of here and was troubled. I lived in Cincinnati, Ohio at the time. Was troubled with the fact that so many of the amazing women I knew in the community were not getting involved. And they had really good reasons for not getting involved. They might be a stay-at-home mom and they couldn't justify paying $10 an hour to a sitter while they went out and volunteered. Or they might travel for their work, or they might have a particular interest. And I thought it was disappointing and sad and a real loss for the community and for those women. So that particular summer, I was wrestling with it. And I got out a spiral notebook and I started writing down all the objections that I had heard over the many years. And then one by one, I started addressing them. Well, what if we had a nonprofit that operated in such a way that for women who didn't have time, they wouldn't be required to give time. And for women who didn't think they had enough to give, if we pool our resources, we'll have more than enough, and so on. And as I worked through that summer, by the end, the image that had been created when I overcame each one of those objections looked like Impact 100.
And what's the concept then of Impact 100?
The concept is to gather at least 100 women, and in Traverse City we're actually shooting for 200 women. At least 100 women who each donate $1,000. We pool our resources, so the minimum grant size is $100,000 to any nonprofit within the defined region. For Impact 100 Traverse City, that's our 5-county area.
So that's a big impact.
It's a really
Big impact for one
transformational
group.
grant.
As opposed to, $1,000 going to maybe 100 different groups.
Right.
Or spread out like that.
The idea was to allow the nonprofits to really strategically execute on their
Okay.
plan. The small grants are available from other funding sources typically, but in most communities, finding a grant maker who will give you a transformational grant to fully implement an idea or a program is much more rare and very valuable to the nonprofits.
Yeah. This was covered, by the way, when you started this in People magazine, wasn't it?
It was.
So that was back in '91. Here we are in 2017, just starting up a chapter here in Traverse City. What took so long?
Well, I believe that Impact 100 organizations, they start in communities when the community's ready. And in 2001, when this was a concept, I thought I was making it just for Cincinnati. But when People magazine did the article, we started hearing from people around the globe. And the time is right now in 2017 for this 5-county area. People are enthusiastic. They're coming alongside with their sleeves rolled up, ready to get to work.
So you have at least 3 women that are on board here. You need hopefully 200.
Mm-hmm.
How many? How do you go out and find women to join up? Linda or anybody who might be able to help us with that?
Well, currently, we're in our recruiting season, which ends March 31st, and we're holding information events around the 5-county area. We just had one at the surgery center here in Traverse City, and Wednesday night we'll be holding one at the Leelanau Lodge in Leland at 5 o'clock, and all are welcome. And this is really a great opportunity at these type of events to come and learn about Impact 100, to learn how to be involved, and really learn about what I call our 3-legged stool. The individual benefit of becoming a member, of being able to be part of one of these transformational grants. The second is so critical, is that we have the opportunity to bring the awareness to all the nonprofits in the area. So this is also an outreach awareness time for the nonprofits. And then the third leg of the stool I'm very excited about is this opportunity for the women in the 5-county areas to meet each other, because it really creates an opportunity for us to reach across our county lines and come together.
There are a few similar groups. The Milk Maidens, I think, would be one where women kind of...
Maidens of Michigan,
Yeah, that's it, yeah. And then the women who...
the 100 Women Who
The 100
Care.
Women Who Care, yeah. So same idea, they all throw in an amount of money, it becomes a large amount of money. Nothing this big though, I mean, I think some of them give away $5,000, $10,000 grants,
Right.
maybe a little higher, but...
And our granting process is a lot more vigorous. So
what's in it?
our granting process is a lot more
Okay.
vigorous. So the nonprofits do apply for a grant like they would any other nonprofit looking for a grant. And they're thoroughly vetted. We want to make sure whoever we're granting to is a very strong and ready organization, that they are ready to accept this gift, and that it won't be, someone who's not ready to take a $100,000 project
Right.
on.
Do you have a focus, what area, children, arts, environment, do you have any focus there?
We actually have 5 focus areas, and the idea being that there would not be a nonprofit in our region who wouldn't qualify based on our emphasis. So our 5 focus areas are education, environment, arts and culture, family,
Health and
and
wellness.
health and wellness. Thank you, all of a sudden. And so,
Pretty much, yeah.
and each one is meant to be interpreted very broadly.
Yeah. So is there any concern about overlap? I mean, do you expect some women will take part in more than one of these groups?
We
or-
hope women will take part in all of them.
Oh, yeah, well, ideally, there we go. So you have the informational night Wednesday at the Leelanau Lodge, 5 o'clock. There'll be more on that. Is there a website then for people that might be listening that want to track where you're going to be next?
Yes, actually, and the URL is impacttc.org. And if you go to the website, there is an events button, and that will tell people when our next events
All right.
are, where they are. And right now, we have 4 hosted, scheduled for the next month.
But if you can't make it to an event, you can reach out to us, and we're happy to meet with you and talk to you about it, and make it work into your schedule as well.
5 counties: Grand Traverse, Leelanau, Antrim, Benzie, Kalkaska.
Exactly.
If you're a nonprofit saying, oh boy, $100,000, we're ready for that. When do they begin to apply? What's the grant process?
Very soon. Very soon we will kick off the application, and then on April 20th we will announce how many grants we'll be giving away. Hopefully we'll be announcing we'll be giving away 2 $100,000 grants in one of the 5 focus areas, or in 2 of the 5 focus areas.
And that will be once a year?
Once a year.
All right.
That'll be in November. We'll award the grant in November.
Okay. That'll be a big giveaway. It's like
Yes.
a lottery.
Well,
Yeah.
it'll be a really big giveaway, and interestingly, Traverse City, when we accomplish this of having 2 grants our very first year, will be joining an elite group of only 2 other impacts around the world who have ever started with more than 200 members.
Wow. Are there, I know that, like, especially the Petoskey region, there's a lot of seasonal donors that donate to local northern Michigan nonprofits, even though they're only there a couple of months a year. Do you expect to connect with our seasonal visitors here? Do you see-
Absolutely, we are open to everyone. We just received a membership from LA, from
Yeah.
a woman who's dearly connected to us up here. We are reaching out to our summer residents and even people that don't live here that love this area because they want to contribute to what we have and the needs we have here.
What if I'm a guy and I say, that's a great idea, what a concept. I want to go and give you guys some money and get involved.
We would love your money.
Thank
we
you.
can sponsor Laura.
Can I
you
network
sponsor
with you too?
Colleen.
Yes.
You could sponsor
Okay.
anyone you would like. We'd love to have you.
But why is it generally women's, your idea, and your idea initially was to get women and there aren't any men's groups like this that I know of.
There's actually one Impact 100 group for men in Palm
Right.
Beach, Florida, that I know about. You know, culturally, men grew up generation after generation feeling very comfortable writing a check to a charity that they care about. Women have been brought up culturally a little bit differently. We were much more likely to roll up our sleeves and put on a rummage sale or a bake sale or a gala. And not that events aren't good and important. The difficulty is as our roles have changed, so has our desire to get involved in the community. Impact 100 is a lot of hands-on work to pull off. We have no paid staff. It's 100% run by volunteers. And it's heavy lifting. So it's a way for women to really come together and collaborate and make a significant transformational grant.
So you'll have to review all of the, you'll have a committee or people that will review all of the grants. Yeah, that's a lot of work.
It is. It's a lot of work. They'll get trained, so fear not if you've never looked at a grant application before. You'll learn how to vet a grant application. You'll learn how to make a site visit and how to assess which is the most deserving nonprofit in our region.
And for $100,000 for some groups, can it be project-based? Can it be, we want $100,000 for a new piece of equipment? Or we want $100,000 to bring in a consultant to help get us on the right tracks? Or can it just be for their operating budget so they have an easy year or two?
Well, it's not designed to be for their operating
Okay.
budget, but we really encourage nonprofits to dream big, to think about what would be possible if they were funded in this way. We also encourage collaboration. There may be smaller nonprofits who can come together and create something really fabulous. Everyone who becomes a part of Impact 100 Traverse City cares deeply about our 5-county area, and will only be successful if we get enough women to come and donate, but then
Or men.
and if we get enough nonprofits who have brilliant ideas of how they're going to transform their work.
Yeah. Do you have any examples from other communities, especially maybe our size roughly?
Well,
what kind of
it's-
impact that you can have?
I don't know if you're familiar with Pensacola, Florida,
Sure.
but demographically, Pensacola is a relatively small community. It is the second poorest county in Florida. They were one of the very first Impact 100s that started after reading the People magazine article. Pensacola, despite their small size and relative economic disadvantages, is the world's largest impact organization. They started with 200 plus members their first year. By year 10, they had 1,000 members. They've maintained that and grown it for the last 3 years. And in case the math is coming slowly on this Monday morning, 1,000 members means in one day they give away $1 million to grants in each one of those 5 focus areas in Pensacola, which is remarkable. And I say, if Pensacola can do it, Traverse City can absolutely
All
do
right,
it.
Linda, sounds like you're working a lot with the information and members. Are you confident we'll hit the 200 mark here by April?
I am, because
Okay.
I know the composition of this area, how much people care. I've worked with women, I know they want to participate, and we have great momentum, and we know that's going to continue.
Some women may say, I can't write you a check for $1,000. I could do $100 a month, though. I mean, is there anything that you can work out like that if somebody wants to take part?
There are lots of ways for women to get involved. If the $1,000 is a challenge, there are ways that they can volunteer their time, they can budget and save up, they might go out and seek a friend to come in together. Now, if they do that, they decide among themselves who votes and who shows up at the meeting, but we want all women involved regardless. And we need them. So we're willing to go the extra mile to make sure it's as easy as possible.
And once you award these checks, hopefully at least 2 every year, or 2 and growing, for $100,000 to a local nonprofit, is there a system then, you're all volunteers, to kind of follow up and make sure that they do what they intended to do?
Yes, our grant committee is led by some amazing women, and they are there to make sure that the money is being spent how it said it was going to be spent, and that it's true to our membership, and our members feel very strongly about that was spent how they said they were going to do it, and they're doing a good job with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Impact 100, national, but founded by Wendy Steele. International.
Yes. Sorry.
Founded by Wendy Steele, brainstormed. When you were, though, in Indiana when this came to you?
I lived in Cincinnati, but I was up here in northern Michigan.
Okay, oh, you were up here. So, Northern Michigan idea, international.
Yep.
But now finally, here in our backyard, impacttc.org. I'm surprised that was available. That's nice. Wednesday, if you're in Leelanau County, go to the Leland Lodge at 5.
Yes, we'd love to see you. Wendy will be speaking, so you'll hear the whole impact story from the founder.
All right, and go to the website for other upcoming events. And if you want to email and just connect, you can do that through the website.
Correct.
All right, exciting stuff. And March 31st, the deadline to join.
Yes.
And the grant information will be announced shortly.
Shortly, yes.
And then November, you'll announce your winners.
Right, and start all over again.
You'll come right here in the morning and announce the winner, right?
We would love to do that.
Absolutely.
All right, that's terrific. Ladies, thank you so much for all of you, what you do in the community and for this event too. Allison Beers, Wendy Steele, Linda Lindqust-Bishop, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, impacttc.org. It's 8:53.